Hey, you know what time it is? Not sure you guys can see it. It's still podcast time. Welcome back to the Bejeweled podcast, where it doesn't really matter what context we were given. We just talk and play at the same time. I'm Joel, I'm the Epideph for 121 NES. I finally have an iPad.
And I'm Jiozak, and I'd like medium fries to go with my chocolate frosty, please. Side order.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. This is not Splatoon.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is number 29, episode 29 of the Bejeweled podcast. The context is simple. I play a Bejeweled game, a light game, while we talk about games, and hopefully my hand does not yell at me after 2 hours. All in the name of representing Bejeweled 2. At least for now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another podcast, so if you're hyped for that, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for content if you're new. If you haven't followed Jiozak on these socials, what are you doing? And of course, ring that bell to confirm enter our channel. Last podcast on the card, up here. Jiozak, it's been a while actually. I think about 3 months since we've done this.
Yeah, I was looking, and I think it was January the 20th that we last did this.
Yeah, that was when we did our retrospectives of 2023. But this is a new year. This is a new podcast. So it's finally time we look to the forward and discuss about stuff that has happened recently. Because boy, not only are we going to discuss about Splatoon 3 Side Order, which is of course which will be our first game, but not only that, we have a humongous Tetris achievement that has just been hit very recently, and we'll also be discussing about that. With that said, are you ready, Jiozak?
Yeah, don't you normally have the level counters, level counter on screen?
Oh no, wait, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't usually have that, right?
Thought you did. Am I just imagining things?
No, you're not mentioning things. You're not mentioning things completely. Anyways,
Okay.
let's get this started. Alright, so the first things first I want to talk about, of course, is the... Oh, what was it? The Splatoon 3 Side Order, which was the very first thing that we want to discuss about. What do you... I mean, you have played it... you played it. I've just researched it yesterday, and I did get a lot of notes on my iPad, if you're wondering, so that's why. So, I mean, straight out the game, what do you like
Nice.
Side Order?
Yeah, for a while, I was kind of questioning, like, why are they going with a completely different, like, game genre for this expansion? And after I thought about it, just the fact that, they pretty much perfected the, like, single-player, structure, for a Splatoon game, with Splatoon 2's Octo expansion, and then they took a lot of the DNA from that into Splatoon 3's main single player. I was thinking like, maybe they should have gone for something that is more akin to Octo expansion, but as I was playing Side Order more, it's like, no, like this is very much a fresh idea. They're taking the base like mechanics and concepts of like Splatoon's movement mechanics and putting it into a roguelike.
Yep.
That wasn't really something that I don't think anyone really was thinking before. I say that, but at some point I started thinking about what like an endless salmon run would be like, because salmon salmon run is really the reason why I play Splatoon. And I, for a while, was kind of theory crafting how they could go about essentially making an endless, like, basically roguelike salmon run mode. And while this isn't like quite like that, it follows a lot of the concepts that I had kind of thought about. One of those being like stat boosts that you collect throughout the run.
So like the upgrades, the color chips?
Yes. Yes. I had thought like a similar sort of thing with the mode that I was just kind of theory crafting. Yeah. I guess also just being able to yeah, like having different objectives, that I guess was something that I had thought about before, and that's really the yeah, one of the core pillars of this mode. I don't know, it just all fits together pretty well, even if I ended up spending not as much time with it as Octo Expansion, if memory serves correct. Excuse me. I played Octo Expansion off and on for the better part of a year. And yeah, it took me very long to fully 100% that mode, but that's because I was still just trying to get comfortable and get to grips with just Splatoon in general. So because I now have a couple hundred hours more of experience under my belt, it's like, okay, yeah, this is just inherently easier for me. That's not to say that it still doesn't put up a challenge.
Oh no. Anyways, yeah, we're done. Let's end the podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, just swap to Plants vs. Zombies.
Fooled you, didn't I?
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're just doing this? Okay, sure.
Okay, I know
like-
it's not the actual day, but I couldn't stream on that day because it was a work day, so this was the best I could come up with.
Fair enough.
Now you see where I was going with this. For those wondering, I did not tell Jiozak I was doing this at all.
Yeah, he did not.
But I figured to myself, okay, it's gonna be that first week of April with April Fool's Day. What can I do to surprise Jiozak in a podcast? And I thought, you know what? What's the best thing than Bejeweled 2? This version.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking to myself, I could fool him. It's like, wait a second, why is he also playing Plants vs. Zombies? Oh.
I thought it was just like an extra like bonus segment you were putting into the podcast or something. It's like, okay, sure.
No, this is gonna be the whole time.
Okay.
That is why I didn't have the level counter.
Nice. Okay.
Now you know.
If I didn't have the stream pulled up right in front of me, which sometimes I don't even have eyes on the stream itself, like I just have the chat up, and then of course the Discord call with Joel and I. So if I would have done what I normally do, then like this probably would have gone on for like most of the podcast without me realizing what the switcheroo.
Well, in the words of that famous joke, made you look, didn't you? Didn't I?
I guess, maybe.
Anyways, yeah, as we're doing this, as a heads up, what was it? You guys can redeem points in the chat, the channel points, so you can actually ask me to open some Pokemon packs, because I am opening up some Pokemon packs. So you guys can see some cool stuff inside there.
Yeah, case in point. There you go.
Oh, okay, give me a moment. Let's see which one. Let's open up this one because honestly, I like this. I like this flavor. I like this type.
Mm.
All right, let's see what's inside here, guys. Let's see what's inside this Pokemon pack. Let's see what's inside. I'm legitimate, by the way. I am legitimately opening a Pokemon.
Yeah, so yeah, because I have the stream pulled up, it's only, or there is some delay, so I don't know what exactly Joel is doing until like close to 10-15 seconds after.
Okay, for those who want context of how in the world I found these, let's just say for some reason there was a campaign over where I live where we have, for some reason, Oreo decided to say, you know what, let's put Pokemon designs on Oreo biscuits. So I thought, you know what would be the best idea? Saying them opening Pokemon packs, saying the truth, but the Pokemon packs are actually Oreo packs.
Oh.
And here's the thing, there is also another thing, the Pokemon Oreos, right, you actually can kind of collect them all because there's 16 different designs. I'm trying to see if I can find all 16 in these Oreo packs. And I have, for those wondering, I have a lot of these available. So if you guys want me to either collect them all or stuff my face with Oreos, go ahead.
I think they did a similar sort of thing with the Mario Oreos.
Wait, there was Mario Oreos?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I probably should find those, honestly. That's quite cool. Alright, first one is...
Yeah, it was some time ago, so I don't know if there's still fresh packs of those out there.
I don't know if you guys can see this properly, but that's Jigglypuff. That's the first one. Oh, it's actually quite dark. The only problem is that I have very bad lighting around here, so that's why it may be hard to see these. But yeah, let's have some fun with those. Any repeats I will eat, for those wondering.
Eat.
I'm leaving goodbye.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, did he actually... He's actually gone. Okay. Well, anyways,
also, I left to get water as well because I know my mouth would get dry.
Yeah, fair.
Something tells me my mouth's gonna get very dry from today. So for those wondering, my setup right now is very awkward because now I finally have an iPad. I'm using the iPad to take care of all the notes that I want to have in terms of like wide research, let alone any notes I want to make in terms of the attempts I want to make.
I don't think you have your microphone properly set back.
Yeah, sorry about that. So those wondering, my setup is actually quite weird. I have my iPad right next to me to record all my notes because I didn't do my research about side order, if you're wondering. I also am using that for timestamps whenever I, make the description later for the podcast. I also have my phone up, because that is where I have my, my timer and my Twitch chat. So that's why. All right, let's see what else is inside here.
I've thought about getting an iPad or some sort of tablet, but...
Oh, dang.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
That is definitely a Lapras. That is so cute. Oh my god, they did a very good job with the design, honestly. Also, these...
Oh, yeah.
Oreo packs are Oreo cookies are definitely smaller than I thought. I actually got... I was wondering, I got Ziploc bags to put the Oreos inside. I actually didn't think they would hold up as well as they are right now. Alright, let's see the last one. Oh, wow. I did not expect a Gen 6 Pokemon. There's Pancham.
Nice.
That is so cute. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, at least I don't have to eat any Oreos yet.
Yet is the key word.
Oh boy. Again, if anyone wants to stuff my face, go ahead. Meanwhile, let's actually go back to not only play Bejeweled, but also the side order. I mean, you mostly talked about like your thoughts about it, the game as a whole, right?
Yeah, just like my general thoughts. Like as someone that isn't as big into Splatoon, like what kind of are your thoughts about it?
For me, I was looking it up. I mean, concept-wise, and looking deeper into some of the hidden um tricks that they did in terms of design, in terms of where they went with it, went with the idea. Honestly, I'm quite impressed. For those who want the context, if you don't know about Side Order, it's based off the last Splatoon 2 Splatfest, which was Order versus Chaos, so Marina versus Pearl. And I'm not mistaken, Pearl won and Team Chaos won.
Yes. Yeah, and Chaos was like the overall like arching theme of the main game of Splatoon 3, and yeah.
But unlike what they did with the first Splatfest finale, they actually did not let Order, kind of go to waste. Because you know how after Marie won the last Splatfest in Splatoon 1, she was kind of just the person that was right next to you throughout the entire adventure in 2, and nothing else. While Callie was the final boss.
Yeah.
Instead, they actually allowed Order to be the part of the name of these DLC, which I quite like.
Yeah, it is kind of fascinating that the team that lost the final Fest of Splatoon 2 ended up being kind of the basis of like the theming of the this single player expansion for 3. It almost kind of makes you wonder, like, did they just have this overall thought of just roguelike mode, and just whichever team was the losing team, that's would have just been the overall set dressing, or did they actually have something completely different planned for if Chaos lost? I wonder.
Yeah, that's actually very true. But it turns out we end up seeing that both sides actually had something to play, which is nice that they twisted it to be like that.
Yeah, it like with how like chaotic a lot of the floors end up being, it's almost interesting that the theming of Order doesn't really feel too out of place, to be honest. You'd think that like it would fit perfectly with more of a chaos theme, but they managed to still make it work with the Order theming.
Yeah, which is honestly great to see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pardon me on this. Anyone who has wanted to play Side Order, try not to hear too much of this because I'm about to actually talk about the story behind Side Order because I did do my research on it. So apparently, we see that all of a sudden, the Octoling, all of a sudden like gets trapped in like a technological trance. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Agent 8 is their name, or just 8.
Yeah, and that was from the Octo expansion, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, same character.
Okay, I had to confirm that because honestly I was just looking at it, I was like, wait, Octo expansion? But I had to confirm with you because I know you had played too.
Yeah, even though there may be story like plot points that I might not be so clear about, but that for sure, yes, it's the same character.
Alright, that's good to know. So apparently, you enter some sort of trance. You enter into a white-stained Inkopolis, if I'm not mistaken, and all of a sudden you see Pearl, in robot form.
Yeah, she's just a drone.
Yeah, which is definitely a bit off-putting, but it works.
Yeah, so you end up waking up in Inkopolis Plaza, I believe is the proper name.
Yeah.
It's the hub world, or hub plaza from Splatoon 2. And you find that the tower that you would go to for the regular multiplayer battles has actually been taken over by these enemies called gelatins. And
Such
at
a
the
great
very
name.
top, I know, yeah. And at the very top of this tower is like Order incarnate, basically. The first like run through that the game has you do, it's more of just like a tutorial 10 floor run. Every like actual run after that is 30 floors.
Yep.
You end up, or you, progress to through different floors. Each floor has a different objective, and eventually, like in the tutorial and then in the main game after, you have 3 different floor selections, generally of different difficulties, but sometimes they can be the same difficulty for better or for worse.
Yes.
Just the way that it generates things sometimes. The way that you get to those floors is through an elevator, and in that elevator is this character named Oct. That's how I've been like mentally pronouncing it.
I mean, same
ACHT.
here, and I haven't really done enough on this, but I kind of was wondering what that name Oct is trying to refer to. I'm thinking of like maybe switching around the letters, but didn't reword. But honestly, I didn't really research anything otherwise, so I'm not sure behind the secret meaning behind it.
From what I've heard, it's similar to the German word for 8.
Oh.
Yeah. This
Wait, so Agent 8 is with 8.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I forget if this character has a different name, but I know they have like a quote unquote stage name or artist name rather, of Deadfish, because they're canonically an artist of music that is played in game. And they've been like the form that we see them in, they're like sanitized, and you end up like learning lore tidbits. Well, actually, I'm trying to think. Yeah, for sure, in the lore tidbits that you collect, they're not sanitized, and I forget exactly what all sanitization involves, but they're lucid enough to not be, I guess, fully submissive to order. They're actually helping Pearl and 8. And you end up learning the connections between Oct and another character. I'll just leave it at that, question mark.
Wait, not Marina.
Okay, yeah, it's Marina.
No, I was going to say, because they do talk about, like, Oct does talk about how they are related to Marina in some way. So it's not really that much of a spoiler.
Okay, yeah, they went through, like, the same, I guess, like, military equivalent training, because technically they're both former soldiers of the Octarian species.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're right. You know what? Now that I think about Marina's design.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And, yeah, at some point down the line, they ended up going rogue in that regard. Because, yeah, they're actually, like, being cordial and friendly to the squid species that's been dominant on the surface for ever.
Hmm.
So,
Thought of thinking it that way. That's actually kind of cool. Oh, hi, Patrick. How you doing?
hello. Hello. So, yeah, once you get to the top of that first, like, tutorial playthrough, you find that, it's, Marina is being kind of piloted by Order, and so you end up, freeing her from Order's clutches. And then that's really when the game starts. It's a wild amount of time between starting and the words Nintendo Presents being on screen. It's like at least a solid hour.
Wait. So it's you've seen the story, 10 floors of tutorial where you save Marina, and then Nintendo Presents.
Yes. Yes, and with
What?
with previous Switch games, like, you know, the Zelda games, that's like the first thing that you see basically when you load up load up the game, or some other games. I don't remember if does Mario Odyssey do that? I don't know. Anyways,
Mario Odyssey, I remember, it allows you to catch a rabbit, if I'm not mistaken, before you take on, like, you meet Cappy, of course, then you learn about how the Cap Kingdom is completely destroyed by Bowser. Right after, you all hop into a python, electric python, and head towards the Wood King? Oh, one of the kings. What was the first? What's after the Cap Kingdom?
Fossil Falls?
Yes, that one. And that is when you say, then that's when the title comes up, Super Mario Odyssey.
Right. So, yeah, but this takes the cake. When it actually appeared on screen, it's like, oh yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, sure.
You're so immersed. I feel like the best part about it is that now that you mention it, it's like the game is trying to immerse you to the experience, and you don't really realize, wait a second, like you completely get oblivious to all the other elements that you usually would see in an intro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like, and it's already explained essentially the basic core structure of the mode before it actually properly does the introduction. So, but then after that, you, this, both Pearl and Marina, talk about this. Well, I guess no, Marina, like, talks to 8 and Pearl about this, that the entirety of Side Order quite literally is a simulation. And so you're trying to figure
as much, considering the technological, like, you know, feel you get when you start every floor, because you notice that when you start, all of a sudden it's just like a technological flow that comes through, like, so it's loading the level.
Yeah, and when you get the color chip, it just, like, boop, appears out of, like, thin air, and then the giant palette where you put your color chips for your stat boosts just pops.
That's such a cool idea, honestly. Although, speaking of color, I'd like to point out something that I felt like was a cool detail. You know, when you start out the game and you, like, change the, like, you know, set Agent 8's, like, you know, features, you know what's the one thing they did not allow you to change?
The hair color?
Yes, and it fits so nicely to the near monochrome feel of Side Order. Because if you think about it, you think of the floors inside the tower, the spire of Order. There's not much color in there, is it?
No, and yeah, the only color that ends up appearing is from the color chips that you're selecting.
And art, like, as well.
That too, yeah. Whatever, like, I don't know exactly how the system works, but as you are collecting more color chips, that colors the hair and ink of your Octoling certain ways, and so it ends up, like, making your ink easier to see the farther you get in a run, which is interesting.
I haven't even thought of that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the first couple floors of a run, it's not like it's impossible to see where your ink is, but it's just... it blends in very well with the surrounding environment. That being said, with these single-player modes in Splatoon games, I think since Splatoon 2's, they have the ink have like not like glitter, but like these like sparkly like shard looking things in it, so it helps to add like a little bit of extra visual like identification. But even then, it's like, yeah, if you're just kind of zoning out, then it might be a little tricky to see where it is, but that doesn't last long.
Not at all. Mind if I ask something about like the level, how they generate? Because I was researching it. Well, first things first, there are the 5 different types of objectives that they give you during your run. If I may name them, firstly, you either are destroying black portals that are causing enemies to spawn, or you're shooting towards a turbine mini tower. I actually called it. I didn't actually see the name of it, and I just kind of made my own term of like turbine mini tower, and it actually ended up being a turbine mini tower, which I felt funny. It was funny.
Nice.
So it's a cool thing I did manage to guess that. By the way, that's a new mushroom, which is great. You're either also defending a splat zone from enemies' black ink, which I felt was hilarious. It's like as though you're playing a computer like you versus AI in splat zones.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's and if you think about it, that turbine mode is almost like tower control.
Exactly.
If you really think about it.
It is so clever and it's so funny at the same time. It's like, hey, do you want to play single player of these modes? Here you go.
Yeah. So there's tower control, splat zones. They were cowards to not put in a Clam Blitz equivalent.
I feel like the more the feels is like the original modes in Splatoon 1, so I can forgive them for that.
Yeah, but still, it's just like...
You still finding criminal?
A little bit. It's just kind of funny. I don't know.
That's alright. Also, other things you can do, you're defeating fast enemies in a smaller enclosed area. Because it's like, defeat the fleeing foes. Do they actually fly away?
No, they just run real fast. Well,
yeah,
I guess
it's just
not run. They have wheels. So all of the enemy names inside Order have fantastic names. Do you want to know the names of those enemies?
Yeah, go ahead.
Panicking a la Mambo.
Ah!
Yeah.
Love it. That's quite funny.
Yeah, and I can talk about this a little bit more later, but there's a very annoying enemy that really gets in your way in the splat zone floors, and I believe that's called it's like a fish that just floats in midair, and it has like a sprinkler on its fin, so it's like covering turf as it's flying, and it will like zone in towards the splat zone. I believe that's called the drizzling capricioso.
The fact that it's a play on Capri Sun is hilarious.
Let's see, Gelatin Field Guide. I have the game pulled up. Drizzling capricioso. Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I think of is Capri Sun when I hear that, which is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, are these names actually based off of anything?
I mean, Capri Sun, which slightly makes sense, but, liquid.
Maybe, but, like, the sprinkler on its fin, this this is kind of weird, and now that I'm thinking about this, it might be like the, I don't know the exact name of this, but like on a cappuccino machine or espresso, whatever, at like the spouts of, I think it's called the portafilter, where like you put the grounds in and like lock it in. That the spouts looks almost like what's at the fin of the drizzling capricioso.
Oh, you know what? I can see that. And the fact that it's black.
Yeah, it's almost like it's coffee.
Yeah, no, that's actually quite clever.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like that, now that you mention it.
All of these enemies are just sentient coffee. That's what happens when you leave it out on your desk for too long.
You must have coffee!
Yeah, I can't. It's
I mean,
almost 10 p.m.
For me, I already have my coffee, so I can't either.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking back of... I think there was one more, objective that I kind of derailed the conversation. It's, I guess escorting or just maneuvering... They're not 8 balls, they're infinity balls this time. So back in...
Splatoon Marvel? What?
So, well, first of all, with the infinity balls, you're, like, shooting them through the level to get to these, like, magnetic pad things, and
actually,
once they all
that
set...
was actually... Oh, wow, lucky. That was actually the last one I wanted to mention about, which was the ball one, which I found interesting, but I can see how it can be annoying.
Yeah, so these used to be worse in the Octo expansion.
Oh?
So, yeah, so in Octo expansion, they had, like, normal ball physics. That sounds weird that I say it like that, but it makes sense. So you shoot the ball, the 8 ball in Octo expansion, and it has, like, some momentum going forward, but then it eventually stops. The stages with those were very, very infamous with people who were trying to play through Octo expansion to any sort of level of completion, because they could fall off the stage, and if that happens, you get sent back to the last checkpoint. With the infinity balls, they're a lot more floaty, and you'd think that it would make those stages worse, but when you shoot the infinity ball, it temporarily, like, protrudes, like, some spikes, so it actually, like, partially damages enemies, but also, they don't fall off the stage, so even if you shoot it at the edge of a stage, it just hits an invisible wall. It's safe. So, they are a lot easier in that regard. Like, maneuvering the balls, at least.
That's kind of interesting that it's a lot easier. I looked at it the first time, I was like, it's kind of nice that they don't fall off. It's quite nice as well. They, like, I mean, momentum-wise, it's a bit more easy to maneuver them. But now hearing about how they were in Octo expansion, oof.
Yeah, like, I'm just glad that they don't fall off the stage this time, but definitely if you are playing an 8-ball stage with a higher difficulty, then the balls are not an issue. It's more so just the hordes of enemies that are trying to prevent you from getting the balls to where they need to be.
That's honestly, I just opened up Pokemon Pad because like no one is really redeeming, so I'm just open by myself.
Sure. Sure.
That was a Snivy for those wondering. This one is oh wow. So far, no duplicates. This is a Grookey.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Anyways, continue.
So yeah, there's those 5 main objectives, and whenever you're selecting a floor,
Strat, as soon as I say that, I got my first duplicate.
oh,
Let's Play Jigs even when it's not a Let's Play.
right. So when you're selecting a floor, not only are you seeing the objectives for each floor, but as you play the mode time and time again, you'll start to see, instead of each floor having question marks, it instead has the name of the floor terrain, but it's in the format of a file name, which is very amusing to me, just because like it really much cements the fact that like this is a simulation. So it's like, yeah, it's this objective, let's pull up
You know, it's great that you say that because
Sisyphean floor.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I actually did put it on my notes saying maybe names in file form related to the technological field of the tower. So yeah, we both had the same idea behind what they were going for with that, which is great. I did pull up some notable names. Some of the names are very mild. It's just like ball or like ramp floor or something like that. And then there's some which are absolutely ridiculous. There's the all the way down bracket then up again dot floor.
Yep.
There's the flying springing open season. Yes, you heard me right. Open season, like as though we're hunting. Divided dot floor. There's on the run bracket circles underscore eternally hunted dot floor.
Yes.
And finally, there's the frantic scampering to bridge floor.
Yes.
Like, some of these names
Yes.
are absolutely hilarious and ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of brings up, like, some floors are multi-purpose. Like, they can be... Or they can end up being... Or they can end up housing multiple different floor objectives, but... I believe it's one of the ones that you mentioned, the eternally hunted whatever floor.
On the run,
I believe
run circles.
Yeah, if memory serves correct, that's always the tower escort objective. So there are certain floors that will only ever be like associated with a single objective type, like it is made for that objective. Like I think it's a caught between crosshairs is always splat zones, and that is it's very infamous with how difficult it can be, because you get the drizzling capriciosos spawning what feels like relentlessly, as well as, how do you pronounce this? The towering noblementes, the guys with like the laser beams that will just like keep firing at you. And
I'm a fire in my laser.
So yeah, you have these two platforms, and at the tops of them are splat zones, and then at the other ends of this like square arena are the enemy spawners, and so they're spawning the capriciosos and the noblementes, and there are ink rails to get back up to the platforms, and a central higher up platform, which you really need to stay up on that platform or the two splat zone platforms as much as possible, because if you start to let things slip by the wayside too much, honestly, you might as well just jump off the level and reset everything. Because it'll be hard to get both splat zones like recovered and get that timer taken back down. It's very much one of the more infamous floors because of that. Although, if you have certain weapons, it's not too bad. Like, funnily enough, if you have the charger weapon palette, it's very easy. You just stay on the platform and keep pecking off the Capriciosos.
Dang. Also, I'd point out something. Sorry, go ahead.
But with other weapons, it's yeah, very much so a bad time.
Also, sorry, this is interrupt. That's another new mushroom. I'm actually surprised I'm getting more of these. So that's 6 down. Just try which ones are left. I think what is left is the regular mushroom, and let's see if I can remember this. Regular mushroom and well, not the grave digger. I know there's one more night mushroom. Remember correctly?
Okay.
Yeah, let's look at the almanac. Almanac will answer my question. 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, am I just seeing the mushroom? I guess I am. Oh no, madness room. Forgot you exist.
Oh.
Almost forgot this thing exists. Yeah, no, that's supposed to be the last 2 that I don't have. Because I don't think there's any mushroom besides this one, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like. So I'm not with the mushroom and the madness room. That's quite crazy.
Nice.
Oof. Getting up there. So, continue on that statement that you mentioned about, I mean, yeah, there's some levels that I can tell or will be a pain in the butt to ever get through. Granted, I mean, they are set to different difficulties, and especially when you go up the floors, you will be faced with much harder levels. But I still quite like, as you mentioned, the roguelike feel of this mode. It's a breath of fresh air indeed, and it's kind of nice that they're keeping it, like, you know, they are staying fresh.
Yeah, it is nice that even though there are repeated levels and repeated concepts, it still stays fresh because of the difficulties. You have easy, normal, hard, and rigorous.
Yeah.
And not just that. Well, I guess for the harder the floor, the more membucks you're awarded, and membucks are used for like purchasing stuff at vending machine floors, and you use them in tandem with like hacks, which are like permanent upgrades that you can buy between runs. But sometimes you'll start to encounter danger floors. And there's really no rhyme or reason as to what floors have danger or not, but once they start appearing, the danger will not go away until you confront a danger floor. Like, you have the 3 floor options. It'll start out just on one slot, whatever it may be, but if you leave it lingering there from floor to floor to floor, now, like, 2 of the slots will be danger, and then eventually all of them will be danger if you don't actually take care of that. And that danger modifier can be things like your Pearl Drone being incapacitated. The Pearl Drone, you can, like,
fly with it.
Like if you jump and hold the button, you can hover for a bit, which is really nice for certain things to, like, stay in mid-air, but also, some of the not hacks, the color chips that you collect for selecting floors, some of those give the Pearl Drone different, weapons, basically. But sometimes the danger floor will just be like, nope, you don't get the Pearl Drone this floor, have fun. Which, if you're really banking on, like, beefing the Pearl Drone in a run, that can really screw you over, just depending. So there can be that. It could also be that the entire stage is just already covered in enemy ink.
Oh.
So you can't even just normally walk. You have to cover the area with your own ink to get anywhere. Or the lights could just be out in that floor, so you can only see what's immediately around you. And it
Oh,
almost
so it's like, as
it almost
though you're in a cave.
sorry. Yeah, it almost feels like this could be a horror game. Like you're just going somewhere and then it's like, "Oh my gosh, that's like a dozen gelatins. I need to get away."
Oh, dear.
Yeah, or it can be a combination of some of those. I feel like I feel like there are some others. Yeah, sometimes the enemies can just be faster or stronger. Oh, that can be a thing. Or you might not get item drops from enemies. That goes into a whole like lucky chain mechanic that's new to this mode. Just the danger floors throw in some sort of extra curveball, and so you really don't want to do one of those on a floor that is hard or rigorous if you can help it.
But most likely you would want to do the danger levels quickly right, as soon as you see them so you can clear the danger, right? But it's just that they're very difficult.
Yeah, if a danger floor pops up and it's on an easier normal floor, take it. Just take it. Unless you're really confident in your abilities, and with the weapon that you're running.
Someone is going to post a video of them doing a rigorous level on danger mode. Someone is going to.
I mean, people have definitely done it. People have been doing all sorts of challenge runs. But
literally keep being fresh then.
yeah. So with every 10 floors that you go through in the spire, you confront a boss, and there's 3 total like mid-tower bosses, meaning you're only doing 2 of those per run. And if you get to the top, that's always the same boss fight, which is, I believe, the same fight from the tutorial run. Yeah, and that's not a spoiler. The whole thing of the game is you run through the tower 12 times, each time with a different weapon. It's not a spoiler. So, but if you clear a boss fight for the first time with a given weapon, you gain a key, and those keys you use in between runs to open up lockers for various collectibles, like Marina's Dev Diaries, which goes further into the lore of Oct and Marina, and some stuff relating to like the final Splatfest, which is kind of funny because so many of us were like playing this right at launch. The timestamps for the Dev Diaries are technically accurate. I believe part of the whole like lore of, well, I guess maybe it's, I guess Splatoon isn't quite like a parallel universe. Maybe it is, I don't know. But basically it is time duration accurate to like between the final fest and the events of this happening, of a side order happening, if you're actually played it around the time of launch. Just kind of funny detail. But the keys will also give you more pearls, PRLZ. You use those to buy permanent upgrades from Marina. Those give you like different stat boosts. You can get more lives. You can actually continue if you lose all your lives, but then that requires membucks that you're collecting throughout the run.
Yeah.
Can increase your damage dealt, decrease the damage you take, like obvious things like that, but then some more like esoteric things like what is it? Like decreasing the cost of things that require like membucks in the tower. Like you can just decrease the price of those. And also increase the duration of like your lucky chain bonus going on. Because if you continuously defeat enemies, that bolsters your lucky chain, which makes enemies drop different items more often. Things like that. But the keys also give you access to more weapon kits. And there's 12 of them total. So, yeah, this isn't necessarily just completion. This is pretty much for beating the game, is clearing the tower to completion with all 12 weapons. And they're all, like, the standard, like, weapon types, like your regular splatter shot, your, roller, umbrella, etc., etc. I want to, like, mention the final weapon kit to some extent. It has a completely unique mechanic to it that none of the other weapon palettes have. It's that the more of Marina's hacks that you have enabled, the less color chips you can collect in a run. So it's very much geared to being a challenge run weapon. And at first it's like, well, I mean, I'll just keep all of my hacks enabled. Like, what's the point? Like, I'm already overpowered that way. Why do I need the color chips? But what the game does not tell you is that part of completion, for one specific badge for your splash tag, requires you clearing the tower with, I think it's like 4 or 5 hacks enabled total or less.
Wow.
The game does not tell you that, but you do get a badge for doing that. And so I ended up doing it. I ended up putting in like a little bit of a safeguard in that regard. So this is a single player game, and Splatoon, Splatoon 3 has cloud saves, both for your multiplayer and single-player progress. Your multiplayer is just stored in Nintendo's servers. The single-player is saved to your Switch's system memory, and that gets backed up to the cloud whenever you close the game. And because this is a roguelike, and if you lose all your lives, it's back to floor 1, you can disable the automatic backup of your save data to the cloud for specific games. So you can just like turn that off for Splatoon. And then I did like 10 floors, and then I closed out of the game, backed up my save data to the cloud, and then just went back into the game, played up to, floor 20, closed out of the game, backed up my save data, just in case.
You died at any point?
Yes, because I had already tried a low hack run before, and I got knocked out at like, I think I got knocked out on the last floor.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, I was in like the last phase and everything, and I just wasn't being patient enough. So it's like, I don't want to do this again. I was practically there.
So you just reset it to that cloud save at floor 20?
Well, that first run where that happened, I was not doing the cloud save cheese, so I had to restart from floor 1, even though there is a mechanic that lets you restart a failed run, or like continue a failed run. This specific weapon palette does not let you do that. If you lose all your lives, back to floor 1.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Thankfully, in my second successful run, or second run that was successful, I ended up not... I don't know. I ended up not having... I know, yeah. But anyways, I ended up not having to call upon the cloud save whatsoever, so I ended up technically still doing it legit.
That's good.
So, yeah, it kind of put me a bit more at ease. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Because, like, once you get that last weapon, there are no more lockers to open, so you're not getting keys from that palette.
That explains the lockers at the start of the tower.
Yes. Once you unlock all the lockers, well, the last locker is the final weapon, in the sense that all of the lockers turn into the final palette, because it's 36 lockers, and each color chip palette is 36 compartments. The lockers become that last palette.
I see.
Because there's no more lockers to open, you're instead getting 3 last dev diaries instead of keys. So you get like 3 last little bits of lore from clearing it with that last palette.
Interesting.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about this, let me actually talk to Marina about some of the other...
I'll be right back as well while you do that.
Sure. So yeah, with Marina's hacks, you can give the Pearl Drone different weapons, or rather, the color chips for certain weapons will not appear until you have those hacks purchased and enabled. You can guarantee certain floors to have the vending machines where you can buy color chips in bulk and even swap out your main and sub weapons, which is real cool, because it essentially becomes custom kits at that point, which is something that some people have really been wanting the main multiplayer to have. And there's one permanent hack called Risky Rewards, which is it's what the game really pushes you towards if you want to really grind out pearls in order to get all of the hacks purchased and enabled and all that. But there's a way better way of getting pearls than the Risky Rewards. Basically, should specify Risky Rewards. The fewer hacks that are active, the more pearls you get for clearing the spire, up to 3 times. However, if you don't clear the spire, you get nothing. So that's why it's Risky Rewards.
Interesting.
But there's a way better way of getting pearls. So one of the other hacks is color chip bias. So every weapon... Yes, every weapon palette has 2 different color chips that it will tend to prioritize. Like a main priority and a like second priority. If you unlock the high bias level for the color chip bias, and also get the hack that lets you re-roll for floor selections, because that's a thing. You can also get a hack that lets you pay membucks to have Marina completely reshuffle the floor selection.
Oh.
Get those in tandem, and then only ever select floors that give you the color chip that is the main priority of your weapon palette. Because once you get to the end of the spire, every time you chain the same color chip category, or I think it calls them tones, if you chain the same color chip tone, it will give you compounding membucks for every time that you've continued that chain. So if you fill out the palette just with that one single color, you make absolute bank.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a way easier way of farming pearls, because then all your membucks, well, the color chips that you collect get converted into membucks, and then all of your membucks then get converted into pearls, which is what you then use to buy permanent upgrades. It is a way easier way of farming pearls than what the game suggests that you do. So.
Kinda neat.
Yeah, and even if you completely purchase every single one of Marina's upgrades, there is a character called Cypher in the plaza where you can buy different pieces of like locker decorations and stickers and banners for your splash tag, and like actual gear that you can use in multiplayer. And then even after you buy all of those, you can purchase today's find, which will just give you a random thing in the lobby terminal. So like even after you've done everything, you can still be spending your pearls to get that day's find and have Cypher send it to the lobby terminal. So there's like, technically there is still stuff to do in that regard, even after you've completed everything. So it's, yeah, just the fact that even though I've fully completed it, and like there's nothing else for me to do in that mode that's new, like I could continue like playing it and doing runs. I've been thinking about like doing some sort of challenge runs myself to some capacity. I haven't thought about what exactly that would what that would entail yet, but it's something that I've been thinking about doing, because once you buy Pearl's hacks, you can like go back and like disable them, so it basically becomes the like the stat selection screen, more or less. So yeah. Yeah, it's yeah.
No, I mean,
I
think you managed to speak out all of it, and it's quite cool that there's so many mechanics that allow you to, make the experience even better, let alone easier. We won't mention too much of the final boss because I don't think we want to spoil too much. But overall, the overarching idea, I mean, Death Fate sounds something that I would like to do if I were if I were good at FPSs, that face.
I mean, if you finish through the tutorial, you know, and I mean, even after you've done a full run, you know what the final boss is. It's the same boss every time at the top of the tower.
That's true. That's very true.
So, I guess in that sense, it's a spoiler to say that there is nothing new there, but...
Strange, because I thought there was. Oh.
No, it's always the same boss up there. I guess I won't say what exactly that boss is, but that boss ends up being a character that ends up getting a lot of great dialogue between them and your crew of 8, Pearl, Marina, and Oct. Well, I guess maybe not 8. 8 doesn't talk.
That's very true.
But yeah, overall, I think they did a really good job with this completely different style of gameplay for Splatoon. I just wish it came out sooner, because it's been over a year since the base game released. And back with Splatoon 2, it was only about a year between the game's original launch and Octo Expansion's launch. But this, it was a year and 5 months.
Very true.
So they ended up needing a bit more time with it, which I mean, I guess makes sense because they aren't just set in stone challenges. They have to be there had to be that extra testing to make sure that the floor mechanics all worked. But it's not like the floors are purely randomly generated. It is just a set list of different floors, but each one of those floors can have different objectives installed in there, essentially. So I guess maybe it's just they had to really playtest the system that selects what floors get shown to you. I don't know. I was just kind of wishing that this would have been released like back in September, but at this point doesn't feel like all that long ago, even though at this point we're in April, so now it's even longer.
You're not wrong on that. Oh, it definitely feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, Side Order launched back in February. It launched on February 22nd, 222, and it's very much relates to stuff from Splatoon 2. So it's like, okay, they're definitely doing a thing here.
Oh, thank goodness, finally a new one. Piplup.
Nice.
That, what I was worrying, that previous pack I opened, it was all duds. It was all the same.
Oh.
So I was just like, dang it, I ate all of them.
Oh.
Not Oreos.
with all those cookies that you're eating, go
my
ahead and
goodness,
hydrate.
this one had two Piplups.
Oh.
Great. Hang on, one more Jiozak.
Wrong bite. I inhaled some water.
Oh my god, because with me eating speaking with my mouth open.
Okay.
Hey,
actually,
finally Pikachu.
Nice.
Surprised that this was not the first one I got, honestly.
I have to go use the bathroom anyways. I'm gonna be right back.
Sure. Get that water out of your nose. All right, while we're here, I would just like to mention something. I actually did not make my schedule yet for next week. Next week is going to be a bit different because I can say this: the main Let's Plays are almost done. So we just mentioned was fully streamed on Twitch already. Peggle Deluxe has been fully edited and uploaded and scheduled for those wondering. So that's why, I'll be honest, right now I've been feeling very, very good recently. Final Fantasy IV is complete, and the Pokemon Heart Gold Minimal Effort Edition, which by the way celebrates its 1-year birthday this month, it's almost done. And I can say this, I can guarantee something. The finale, the true finale where I'll take on Red will be this week. I just have to figure out a day that I will do it. Other than that, the usual Tetris and PvZ will come up instead of doing that for 2 hours. I will be doing some proper levels. And then most likely will be Friday/Saturday where I will do the finale to Pokemon Heart Gold and finally put that Let's Play to an end. That would mean that the only Let's Play I still have yet to finish is the Pokemon Emerald Soul Link, which I did put on hiatus because of all the stuff I've been doing, let alone the difficulty of me trying to get Selfless and I to record together. So that's what's been happening. And I'll be honest, this week in particular was a grind, work-wise, like on my own personal work. So next week should be a bit better. There is a holiday on Wednesday, and I'm wondering whether I should be doing the Pokemon stream then. I'll just have to see. Stay tuned to my Twitter, Discord, let me think. Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and if you are on there, Facebook, to see when I'm going to be streaming this next week. Oh, and by the way, I have a secret I want to tell you guys. I am moving to Instagram soon. And yes, you heard me right. I'll be moving to Instagram. So stay tuned for that. I don't know when I will make my account, probably this month, but I am going to be posting now mostly on there because the other website has not really been working as well as I hoped, let alone it's not really that safe. So that's why I'll be posting there instead soon.
Hello, I inhaled water.
Just we know.
Yeah.
You alright though?
I think so, yeah.
Also, just for you, I wanted to wait for you to come back.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really much else to talk about with Side Order.
Nah. It's funny though that we are doing the side order when it was actually the main part of the conversations we had.
I know, yeah. That that tends to be the case for Splatoon single player just in general, is that it oftentimes can feel relegated to the sidelines compared to the actual main multiplayer modes. But just the fact that as much like care and attention has been put into Side Order like as there's been, like it ends up being more than just a fun little like side thing that you spend $25 on.
Exactly, yeah. With that said, let's move on to the other thing we're going to talk about, which we're going to talk not as much because, I mean, it's not much to talk about, but at the same time, still significant enough. And that is, oh my goodness, 10 million.
Yeah, this is the first time that anyone has scored 10 million in NES Tetris, I believe.
Which, if you think about it, how the progression of NES Tetris world records has gone. Boy, was anyone really expecting this?
Yeah, I mean, there was that that kid some time ago who like beat Tetris. Basically, that's what people were saying.
4 months ago, yeah, 4 months ago, we already witnessed Tetris finally being beaten. Blue Scooty,
Right.
a 16-year-old boy out of nowhere, finally is the first man ever to crash the game, which means he technically beat it. Then followed a few others follow suit, which started out a series on Twitch and YouTube where those three would be going head to head to see who will be the first to reach 10 million. Because at the time, Pixel Annie, who was one of the three who got the game crash, got 8.9 million, which was the new world record at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the fact that people, what feels like, are just suddenly like achieving these feats in NES Tetris that haven't been done ever. It's still insane that people are able to really push a game that is that old to like its breaking points still.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, Patrick, what do you mean if I presume Jiozak knows? What do you mean, does he know?
Yeah, that must have been when I was away. What does that mean?
But that's alright. For me as a Tetris player, oh my. I've been following that for quite some time. Now, granted that I'm not always around the Tetris community because I myself got burnt at one point, let alone there'll be times that I'm too busy with work. So I'm not always paying attention to it. But when the news popped up, just as how when Blue Scooty completely broke NES Tetris, the news spread like wildfire. To where when I found out, I was honestly flipping out like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To know how Tetris World Records started back when I first followed the community. If I'm not mistaken, the world record at the time when I first joined was 1.2 million, set by Harry Hong. Because he was the first person to hit 1.2, if I'm not mistaken. The thing now, later on then I would see Joseph Saley getting 1.3, and then he had an unrecorded 1.4 as well. And at the time, they kind of plateaued for a while because rolling was still not as predominant back then. It was dominant back then. It only popped out during the 2021 CTWC, and even then, it lost to a Hyper Tapper.
Okay.
But that was when all of a sudden the scores started to boom, and then everyone realized, wait a second, rolling could be the new meta. Because all of a sudden we saw the very first rollover score where the score counter cannot take in the code anymore. It basically stops at 1.6 million. Because every number, if you're wondering, Jiozak, on the score counter is like something like a hexadecimal or something like that, where it only counts us to like 16. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A for 10, B for 11, then C, D, E, F. Once it reaches F, it resets to 0. And at the time, no one actually posted a 1.6 million, which would have rolled over the score counter until Classic Tetris Monthly. I think it was April 2020. Wait, one of the 2022 seats, Classic Tetris Monthlies, if I remember correctly. And that was when everyone was like, wait a second. And then people started practicing it. People have been setting crazy new personal bests. And then it just went out of control. Because all of a sudden we saw someone say, hey, I just got 2.3 million. And another one say, I got 6.4 million? If I remember correctly, as a new world record. Oh, geez, that was a lot of matches. And then from then on, it just went crazy. The world records all of a sudden went out of control. And honestly, I myself was like, wait, what is going on?
Right, just like everyone all at once just hitting these crazy scores.
Oh, it's amazing. And as a keyboard player, I can't do that. And even then, I tried, honestly. Like, I tried to like mimic it. It's so difficult, and everyone has their own method to be able to roll. So it's not like it's a one size fits all kind of deal.
Yeah, it feels like it's starting to feel like competitive Melee in that regard, to where like you have to be super careful of like damaging your hands while doing these higher level like maneuvers.
As Fractal made the joke one time is like, I need a lot of lotion for the hand.
Lotion and stretching.
Oh no, yeah, you really need to stretch her now and then because boy, you're sitting in that chair for quite some time. If I'm not mistaken, when Alex Thatch got his 10 million score, he was there for a good amount of time, higher than an hour in that chair.
Yeah.
And for those who are drivers out there watching, you will probably know the pain of sitting in a certain spot for too long.
Yes. As someone who has driven for longer than that, yes. Yes. Very much so. That's why
I just like remember the Akira meme. Like you're just thinking about it, it's like no.
Yeah. Last year I took a road trip just by myself to go spend the weekend with family member that lives out of state, and it's like a 6+ hour drive. I think actually more than that now that I'm thinking about it. And yeah, at least once an hour or like hour and a half even, I would force myself to go pull over somewhere and just stand up and stretch for a bit and, you know, use the bathroom, things like that. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have just I would not have made it without taking those breaks.
Oh, that doesn't sound like it. Also, that's a Squirtle. I'm halfway through the 16 designs now. There's 16 in total.
Okay.
So it's halfway there. Yay.
Nice.
Alright, what next? But yeah, no, the endurance, the lack of mental fatigue that Alex had throughout it. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine having to play the same game and focusing for that long.
Yeah, wasn't he like chatting a good bit or talking a good bit with chat?
He wasn't focusing. He was actively chatting with his like the people in his chat whilst he was doing this incredible run.
Yeah.
And Jiozak, not to mess you around with math, but he almost doubled the world record.
Oh.
8.9 million to 16 million.
Okay, yeah. Okay, he did get I remembered he got more than 10 million. I just couldn't quite remember.
Duplicates being the same pack. That's the second Squirtle.
Oh. But yeah, just the mental agility and stamina on that man is something that probably should be studied. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, and plus, yeah, the technique of rolling, that feels like it could be something that, yeah, if you're not careful, can just like, yeah, wear you out after a good while.
Yeah. Also, that is a Cyndaquil. Yay. All right, so for those who are keeping track, I've opened 15 Oreos, 6 were duplicates, which is actually not that bad, honestly, considering. Grookey, Piplup, Cyndaquil, Pikachu, Snivy, Jigglypuff, Lapras. Lapras might actually be like a slightly rarer one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me carefully flip this over. Squirtle and Handsham. Yeah, those are the 9 that I have.
So just like a little thing that has been kind of interesting about Alex breaking 10 million is it like even the mainstream news got a hold of the Blue Scooty like breaking Tetris from just playing it for that long, and like everyone was talking about that, but then you get a record like Alex breaking 10 million and the mainstream news just is not picking it up whatsoever.
That is a good point, yeah.
From what I've heard. So it's just kind of interesting that dichotomy of it's just a high score compared to this kid broke the game. That's probably why mainstream news picked it up, and it's like, oh yeah, everyone knows Tetris and that it's infinite, it just keeps going. What do you mean someone beat it?
Yeah, as compared to, oh, someone set a new world record, oh cool. Oh, another new world record, oh cool. But they don't realize that the capacity of the high scores that is being posted. They don't realize like how extreme that record is compared to regular scoring. Like as a Tetris player myself, I know the not impact, what's the aspect of how extreme it is, because my personal best is 1 million, 1.03, and I hear someone getting 16 million, I'm like, excuse me? 16 times more than what I can get?
Right.
But for
I
the
think
regular,
maybe it's...
but for the common man, it's like, oh, world record, okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Is this the word? Yeah. It might be because you know, high scores like that are kind of like they can be like not really ascertainable as to like the magnitude of what this number actually means, because every game has its own different scoring system.
Yeah.
Games that have scoring systems. So it's yeah, compared to something more tangible of this kid broke the game, it's something that's kind of feels obfuscated in comparison.
Easier to comprehend, yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably why I was just kind of figuring like, oh, people are talking about Tetris again in the mainstream. But it was really only for that one like news piece, essentially, for better or for worse. So yeah, I have Alex's VOD up here. And yeah, it's just the fact that he is able to, I mean, I don't have the audio going, otherwise it would be mixed in with Joel's audio recording. But from what I remember from when I was watching bits and parts of it, yeah, again, just not just the mental stamina, but like there were certain color combinations that the game was giving him Like, I've at 3646, where it's like, what? How can you even see that?
We turn those like I'm saying one is called charcoal, where it's black and white, and oh my goodness, yeah, color pieces definitely you need the good vision for them because otherwise, bye run.
Yeah, there's certain parts where the game, just makes it incredibly difficult to see for what feels like no reason.
Yeah, and of course it's not really of the player's fault because the game was not programmed to go for that long. And the reason why, if you're wondering, Jiozak, about those different color palettes, it's mostly just the fact that the game is all of a sudden taking color palettes from the system rather than the coding. Because it's starting to break. It doesn't recognize the level, like, what level it is in. That's why. So that's why it happens.
Yeah, it eventually gets to the point where the pieces will look like they just have an outline instead of like the full like actual block.
And then of course there's the infamous all red palette.
Oh, let's see. Did that come up during Alex's run?
I think so. I might be wrong. It's still insane to look at it. It's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, I am seeing a palette that feels like it's just mostly orange with a little bit of purple. I don't know if that's what it is.
I mean, I'll have to look at it again because honestly, I did not look at the. I just remember high score, and then also at the same time, very crazy palettes that to the common man be like, what am I looking at?
Right. Yeah, and you can even see that like the lines counter, it starts overflowing past the numbers or into letters.
Well, yeah, like it's not only the score that's being starting to roll, it's also the line count. Just oh my goodness, who would have thought that we could say that?
Yeah. Let's see here. Where's the
I think, you know what, as we say about rollover, I just realized something. With that 60 million score that Alex got, he technically rolled over the score counter 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what in the world? Is he human? I don't think so.
Right. His final line count, from what it says, is N74.
Which, I'm not mistaken, should be... Wait, let me do the math. 2,493 lines, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeez.
You said N93, right?
N74.
Oh, N74. Sounds like a failed version of one of the Splatoon guns. Anyways,
I was thinking just bingo.
Oh. But
even though
N would be 31 to 45.
I know, yeah, but just...
I'm surprised you didn't go for Splatoon because we just discussed about it.
Oh yeah, like the N zap.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't go for that, honestly.
Whatever. Yeah, no, I was just thinking bingo.
I mean, unfortunately, N letters will always be 31 to 45, so unfortunately that doesn't really work. But I see where you're getting with that.
Right. It would have had to been 074 to actually make sense in that context, but...
Yeah. Yeah, N74 should be 2,000... Let me confirm the map. Wait, no. 2,374 lines, sorry. Because I realized that if A being 10, that means K is 20, L 21, M 22, and N is 23. So yeah, that's 2,274 lines, which, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I'm scrolling the comments here, and someone is bring up a point of, is this the first NES Tetris game to last longer than an hour?
That should be correct. Because when the world record of 9 million was set, I remember very well that did not last over an hour. The reason why I know that is that run was shorter than the game crash run. and that game crash lasted 46 minutes.
Okay.
So that's how I know
Yeah.
it's definitely not. Definitely is the first one to be over an hour, which, oh my goodness, hour. I can't imagine myself playing the same game for an hour straight. Granted, there have been
Right.
times, and for those wondering, there have been times when I was playing Puyo Tetris that I would try to go for 121 wins against the AI on swap mode. But I can't imagine for NES Tetris, even if I had the skill to be able to survive, my mind would just go blank, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, and this, yeah, the specific timing that this person is saying is that it lasted for an hour and 13 seconds. So just... Yeah, it feels like it's just barely broke that.
That is absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now all we need is for Alex to start from level 0 and never press down. And then he will first set the world record for longest game ever. If he can last for that long.
Mm-hmm.
That would be just, oh my. But yeah, no, like, people now can start to see, I feel like with this run, people can now start to see the mental agility that is required to play Tetris. It's such a simple game, and yet, when you have to go for that long, it starts to become so difficult to maintain focus. And I think now, people are starting to realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it... hold on, I've been scrolling Twitter here just for a little bit.
Oh?
I think, like, just completely unrelated, to Tetris, but, is this muted? Yes, should be. Let me mute this tab as well. Okay, so I don't know if we have much else to say just in regards to the Tetris record. Do you have anything?
I mean, where do we go from here? I guess now, I mean, we saw what happened with his run. Like, ended on the same palette for, like, I think like, the palette, I'm not saying it should last about 700 lines, 800 lines, if I'm not mistaken, so he would have had to gone through a lot of that color just to be able to progress to the next level. And for those watching, if you thought going through all those levels at fast speed, it was hard, imagine doing that when the color is not changing.
Mm-hmm.
That, I feel like, now becomes even more aggravating to the mental, just to be able to survive. Because it's like, it all of a sudden becomes a bit more, well, not to bring back the Splatoon conversations, more monochromatic, because you're just sticking with the same color palette for so long. And also your brain can easily, like, shut down from that accidentally.
Right.
So that's why it's like, oh my goodness, like, I can't imagine now is someone going to try to go for the rebirth screen.
Right.
And I'm sure you know,
yeah.
I'm not sure you remember what rebirth was. Like, the idea was that someone would play all the way from level 18, go back to level 0.
Okay.
So after getting level 255, they clear the level, they will go reset all the way back to level 0. Because there's no more levels in the coding.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's what's been that's basically what could happen. I can't imagine it happening soon, but considering how fast these world records have been coming up now and then, who knows? Who knows?
Right. But yeah, if this is like technically breaking news.
Give me a moment before you say it.
I think he went somewhere. Yeah, okay, there he is. I'm just now seeing the stream. Yeah. I really don't want to talk about
why
this
don't you
too
just
much
get some
until
water
he
real
gets
quick?
back.
No, I'll open one more pack and then I will end it.
Sure. I do have just like a shorter just like bit of news that like just happened before we started the podcast.
Oh? Tell me.
So, what?
Tell me.
So, there is this group called Team 0%. They're dedicated to beating every single level in Mario Maker 1 and 2. And, I mean, 2 is still ongoing. People are still uploading levels. That's like...
One is
That's
done,
not
right? I know about that news. All levels in Mario Maker 1 are done, right?
Well, okay, so there was one level from 1 called Trimming the Herbs. Trimming the Herbs. That, it was discovered that the person who uploaded it, did their, clear run with a TAS.
Yeah, I remember that news.
Yes, and so, I don't remember the exact status of whether that level was actually beaten or not, but just a couple hours ago, an actual human beat the level.
What?
when the actual level creator beat it with a task, because so for context, this level requires a dozen-ish different like frame perfect inputs done one after another. But someone actually was able to do it, like an actual human. So, and they were doing it live on stream, and so, it's now like clipped, and I can, I don't know if you have link protection on your
you
chat.
can send me through Discord. I can put it in the chat. Just in case. Wow, that's actually, you know what? That's superhuman.
Yes. Just the fact that now, like, well and truly, every single level in Mario Maker has been beaten by a human, like, as intended. Instead of just kind of, like, saying, oh yeah, we technically have them all beaten because one of them was essentially uploaded by a bot, which, for people who are wondering how you would achieve that with a Wii U, they did like hardware modifications to a classic controller, to be able to send the inputs to the game that way, and that's how they were able to upload just a insanely stupidly hard level. But nope, an actual person has now beaten the level.
I play like Team Zero, like community, like I can think of that meme now. It's like you look at that level, I can't beat you, but he can. Then behind the volcano with that person who beat it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is actually insane.
And this is days before the multiplayer servers for 3DS and Wii U games are being shut down, so it's like, just within the nick of time, all of Mario Maker 1 has truly been completed.
Yeah, for those wondering, the servers were shut down, if I'm not mistaken, April 8th.
Yes.
Which ironically is actually, for those wondering, actually the day I got baptized.
Oh, nice.
So that's kind of funny. Wow, that's kind of crazy now. Like now everything's been cleared. Now I assume now they're doing for 2, right?
Yes. Mario Maker 2 is a Switch game, and people are still playing it, even if it hasn't gotten updates in years. People are still playing and uploading courses all the time.
Yeah.
So that project, that 0% project will not be completed for years still. So it's still gonna be quite a bit for that game, but I suppose just getting a head start in that regard.
I feel like with what has happened just then with 1, I feel like that is going to give such a good boost to those who are in the group. It's like, you know what? If we can beat that, what can we not beat?
Right.
Last one, guys. Last one for the day. Oh, man. Yeah, wow. It's also, like, we went from side order to, like, a lot of chaos in gaming, but it's really the truth. Like, boy, what has been going on with the gaming recently? This year is, like, absolutely, no pun intended, booming.
Right. Although, that's kind of, just interesting, just in the sense that it feels like the Switch overall...
Oh,
the Switch, at least, has been
I was not expecting
kind
a
of
new
like,
one right off the gate. Hi, Sandshrew.
Oh,
That's so cute.
just the fact that it feels like releases for the Switch have been slowing down, and a lot of stuff relating to the other consoles, like PlayStation and Xbox, feel like things are kind of at a standstill at this point. That could be a whole other discussion, but
almost could not see it. That is Sableye, and that's a second new one in a row.
Oh.
That is
Nice.
so cool. Well, believe it or not, guys, I'm down to 5 left, which includes the rare Mew. For those wondering, the Mew is the hardest one to get, because apparently it's the rarest. Now, I've only been wearing my Mew shirt, actually. That would have worked.
Yeah.
Alright, last one. Come on. At least something new.
That's my attempt for a drum roll.
It's another Pancham.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Let me check to make sure I did have Pancham already.
Oh, yeah.
Then also not eat it. No!
No. But yeah, in certain regards, it feels like things are slowing down for gaming at this point, but in other regards, it feels like things are still booming. Like, yeah, at this point, it is next month, the Thousand Year Door remake comes out. I can't wait for that to finally come out, because that'll be the first time that I'll be playing through Thousand Year Door. But then, yeah, June, we're getting the Luigi's Mansion 2 remake, which will be nice, because then that game can actually be played online again, because, you know, after...
3DS server
in a couple
shut down,
days,
yeah.
Yeah, that game will be playable online again, so...
oh, man.
At least officially, so...
We get to relive the times that we first met each other, right?
Right, and we could even, like, do it live. That might be the thing that...
Dude, I wouldn't mind bringing that back. For those wondering, back in 2020, I remember I did stream Luigi's Mansion 3 Skyscrapers, but very weirdly, because I had a webcam, and I was shining on my screen, my Switch. Now, we could do it again. Once that game comes out.
Yeah. I think we were just grinding for all the different Ghost variations, and I think I was the only one with the DLC, so it was you, Honeydew, and me.
Yeah, that's
so then,
correct.
like, you guys could also get the DLC ghosts. So that's why I had to be there. But it was still fun, and I am looking forward to having an excuse to play through 2 again. That it has been a long time since I've last played 2. That was back in 2016. Yeah. So
Definitely has been. Oh my goodness.